What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, Gianni V. Welcome to another episode of Wookie Whispers. I have none other than Nilda, Mrs. Appetite for Collectibles, Mrs. Sithcast. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you? Dude, that
I'm
intro is
good.
pretty dope.
Thank you. Thank you. I made that, I don't know, right before I started the podcast, and it took a lot of my time because it's not something that's natural. I'm not a
Yeah,
graphic designer. You know what I mean? So
I
I had to
know. The
pull
first
in
time I
some
made
help.
mine was, it took a while.
Oh yeah, yeah, hours. I had help making the logo, like the Wookie Whispers like logo,
Hmm.
with a good friend of mine that he's an amazing artist. But like the animation and like the coming in and the music and all of that stuff, that was all me. And that was a lot of work because I have no idea what I was doing. So
That's actually
yeah,
really funny.
so crazy. So welcome to the podcast. Thank you for coming on. This is episode 6. So it's a brand new podcast, and to have you on here is a huge honor. So thank you again.
I appreciate
So
that.
absolutely. So guys, we actually met. We started following each other on Instagram a while ago, and then we actually bumped
Yeah.
into each other out in Fort Myers, which is actually my hometown. And we were at a small little convention. I think it was called HeroCon.
Yeah, it was the one that I think it was like the three Vaders
Yeah.
and Tate Fletcher.
Yep. Downtown Fort Myers, and that's where we bumped into each other and met each other in person for the first time, which was crazy because I was like, "Wait a minute, I know you."
I know we both looked at each other and we're like, wait, I know you.
Yep, which is crazy because especially here, like nobody's here. I mean, I have a few friends like Kyberphonic. He lives in this area. Do you know who that is? Yeah. And then
Yeah.
Will from Diamond Figs, he's up north in Naples, which is like 30 minutes away from here too. So pretty dope. Pretty dope. So tell everybody what you got going on. I know you've got your appetite for collectibles, which you just rebranded, which is crazy. And then you've got Nilda Listens, you've got Sithcast. So just kind of go over all of the things that you've got going on.
So as of right now, like I've been doing a lot of my appetite for collectible stuff. Been doing most of my stuff with Sithcast, where with Sithcast, we're primarily just focusing on like up and coming of all Sith lore. And we've been
Hmm.
getting guests on the show as well. So that's been a lot of fun. And with appetite for collectibles, like in the beginning when I first came up with it only supposed to be where I was interviewing people that had insane collections in South Florida. I
Hmm.
was just too nervous to be on the camera. So
Okay.
in the beginning, when I first started it, and once that started taking off, I started feeling a little comfortable and I was
Okay.
able to finally start putting myself on the camera and like talking to people.
Nice. That's awesome. That's awesome. So what inspired you to do that? Like what was the turning point where you're like, you know what? Like I want to start interviewing people and like checking out their collections and all of that.
So this story is so messed up, but I always tell it and like my friends now laugh about it because it was funny. So my friend and I, Chris, had started a podcast years ago. Um and you know, like people who have been friends for more than 15 years, we're very creative and like always will randomly pop up with something in our brains.
Right.
Um and we just had like a creative argument and I remember he like said to me in a text message like um you know, I went to college for this. You don't know what you're doing. And I don't know what inspired me that he said that. It just triggered something.
Mm.
And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to try my own music that I know how to do this by myself. So I
Yeah.
literally had to Google a bunch of stuff. I bought equipment that I absolutely nothing about, but because it gave it 4 or 5 star ratings, I was like, oh, it must be good. So I'll try. I learned how to use a camera on social media. And basically it was like, my friend tried me. So I was going to do this on my own and be okay
Yeah.
with it.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a similar story in terms of like I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna show you," but in terms of like creating, I had no idea how to use a camera. I didn't know how to do any of the editing. So I used to do music years and years ago and write and produce and perform it. And so luckily with Final Cut Pro, the way Apple has it all set up, it was very similar to like Logic Pro.
Mhm.
So mentally looking at the programs, I was like, "Oh, okay, this like kind of makes sense. Like I kind of know where to like look for things and like the setting up of like music bars is very similar to setting up like video tracks and like how to edit the video." And so because I did that for so many years, it
Yeah,
translated
it is.
into making video. So that was pretty insane and I don't know. I picked it up pretty quick and also too like watching other YouTube videos and being like, okay, that's how you did that and like watching it and doing it at the same time. But it took a long time. Like video editing or live streaming and podcasts is not something that was or is like something that's natural. I'm learning right now in front of you guys. So it's been a journey, that's for sure. How long you've been in Florida?
Yeah, so I'm gonna be 37. I moved to Florida when I was 2, so I'm a Floridian.
Oh, nice, nice, nice. Where were you at before?
So I was originally born in Philadelphia, and then my parents had split. So my mom's grandparents were all here in Florida. My parents were like, "Oh, just come down." I know you're from
That's what
Philly.
I was about to say. What the hell? So I left Philly when I was 2.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, I think you and I are
We might be so because our grandmothers also have the same name, which is insane.
same name.
Hmm. Yeah, I left Philly when I was 2. When I was 2 years old, I came to Florida, and I've been traveling back and forth for years, just because all my cousins and stuff are still up there. But that's crazy. Yeah, we're gonna have to talk more offline on that
Yeah, so
one. I don't
we
want to
grew
give up.
up
Go ahead.
what is it called? Upper We grew up in Upper Darby and Yaden, and then I have
Okay,
family members downtown Philly. And then my
for
grandfather
sure.
had played for the Philadelphia Phillies for like 15
That's
years.
insane. That's insane. Yeah. So I grew up Northeast Philly. Well, I didn't grow up there because I left here so early, but I was born in Northeast Philly. But then my family was also in like Morton, like Swarthmore area, right outside the city. So that's crazy. We're gonna talk way more about that offline, but we might be cousins. My goodness. All right. So let's get into some of the questions. So tell us a little bit about your background with Star Wars. Like, how did that begin? Like, a lot of us I know when I talk to people over time, it shows that like their father basically got them into Star Wars and that whole thing. When my story is very similar, Star Wars was just kind of like always a thing and playing on the TV and all of that. How was that for you?
So for me, it was I didn't learn how to speak English until I was almost 8 years old. And my
Wow.
mom, my grandmother was very strict. She didn't want us speaking English in the house. She wanted it to be primarily all Spanish. So we
Hmm.
were watching TV one day, And I asked my mom, like, hey, can we watch a movie? And she was like, yeah. So I started looking at her VHS collection and I see that she
Okay.
had Star Wars. So I was like, oh, what's this? And she explains to me what it was. Really cool.
Mhm.
Didn't understand anything they were saying because it was on English and I thought it was amazing. So then later on, as I started learning how to speak English, eventually I really started falling in love with Star Wars. Just buying all the VHS tapes for me.
That's so dope. That's so dope. Yeah, that's oh, man. So so you grew up in Philly, but everybody just basically spoke Spanish to you the whole time until, you were about 8 when you fully learned the language?
Yes, everybody in the house. I went to a Catholic school that they only spoke Spanish. And that was just like my grandmother's saying. She just did not want anybody in the house speaking English, which was hilarious. And then
Wow.
when we moved to Florida, we were living in Hialeah. So right there, that's just like little Cuba town.
For sure.
There's no need to speak English there either.
Right. No. That's crazy. Real quick, are you having internet connections? Because it keeps going in and out.
I think so. I was gonna say I feel bad that this is alive, and because I was a couple weeks ago, this is our building is made out of brick. So for it to be okay. And I don't want to do that now because I feel bad, but I feel like I should.
Hey, that's okay. Go ahead. I'll keep everything occupied on my end. And then just jump back
Okay.
in.
I'm gonna do it
Okay.
real quick.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
All right, guys. So while she is reloading her internet, looks like we're having some technical difficulties, which is no big deal. We're just gonna hang out for a little bit. So let's go through the chat. Let's go through the chat here. And Tony, I wasn't late this time. All right, wasn't late, so we're good there. And let's see here, Pop. You know me too. I know you. Chris, good evening, man. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. Thanks for coming and hanging out. Pop, nope, you weren't the only one. I'm actually seeing it and hearing it on my end as well. And I was just hoping that it would get better, but it wasn't. That's okay. We're only 13, 14 minutes in. We'll have her jump back on and we'll go from there. Chris, so off topic. Did I watch Jason Kelsey's press conference? Yeah, that press conference was insanely emotional and man, crazy. My brother actually just came back from Philly a few what was it? What today's Tuesday, so I think not this weekend, but the past weekend. He just came back from Philly and then I got to see him today and he got me a Jason Kelsey t-shirt, which was absolutely insane. And I was really surprised that he was able to do that for me. So can't wait to put that on. It's still brand new, sitting in the closet. Pop, no, you are not the only one. You're not the only one. Wasn't sure. So as we wait, guys, I'm actually going to let Instagram know that we are live. If you guys can, let Instagram know that we are live so that they can jump in while we wait for Nilda to hop on. I'm going to get the link here. But yeah, Chris, what do you think, man? Do you think the new guy that we have drafted that's been sitting underneath him is going to do a good job? Because I'm really not sure. I know he's a stud, but who knows? Okay, Nilda, how we looking? You look good. Can I hear you? Oh, you're muted. There we go.
All right. Can you hear me now?
I got you.
Yes.
Yes, and it looks great, and I could hear you on time because there was like a lag.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm actually gonna
Always.
post this to the story here so that we could let people know that we are live on my Instagram here really quick. All right, but yeah, you are good to go on your end. Let's see here.
Yay.
Share. And guys, if you are chilling in the chat, and if you could share it to your story and stuff, if you haven't already, let people know that we are live and we are rolling. That would be awesome. Watch now. Bam. Then we are live. Cool. Boom. All right. So I'm going to run through that question one more time because I really didn't
I
get
got
the
you.
full answer. So tell us about your background and how your journey with Star Wars began.
All right. So my journey with Star Wars began when I was 8 years old. I grew up in a home where we didn't speak English whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandmother was like in the kitchen cooking. And I remember I was hanging out with my mom and I told her I wanted to watch a movie. She was like, all right, pick whatever you want. And I'm like rummaging through her VHS tapes. And the first thing that we pulled out was Empire Strikes Back.
Wow.
Start watching that. And I'm just like, wow. But it was funny because I didn't understand anything that they were saying.
Right.
So, later on, when I finally learned how to speak English, I watched New Hope and I was just blown away and like fell in love with Mark Hamill. I thought he was like a babe. And just thought the whole premise of Star Wars was just phenomenal.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, my journey started later. So like Star Wars was always a thing in the house. Dad had it playing in the background. Let's say we were like cleaning the house or whatever. If the Spanish music wasn't blaring while we were cleaning, there was some sort of movie playing on the TV, and a lot of times it was Star Wars. And when I was little, my dad's like, "All right, it's time to watch Star Wars," and I'm like, "Okay, I don't know what this is, but let's watch it." And so I wouldn't say I fell in love with it like super young, but it was definitely something that was always around, and I knew exactly what was going on, and it
Yeah.
was just I don't know, it was just kind of like the way my dad made it feel like was just like it was history, and you need to watch this. And I was like, "Okay, we're gonna do this." I would say right around ninth, 10th grade, I got real sick and I was stuck at the crib for a hot minute. And so I ended up streaming it onto my Xbox. I was like, you know what? I haven't like watched these in years. I need to watch this. So I ended up watching it in uh timeline order on purpose because I was like, you know what? Like, I'm not gonna watch it in release order. I'm watching timeline order, and that was the moment where Star Wars became like it like came alive for me because I actually like was watching it for me, you know,
Hmm.
and that was basically it. But that was around man ninth, 10th grade. I don't know. That was like man oh well oh 07, oh 06,
Oh,
right
okay.
around right around that time for me. So I'm 32.
Okay. So you're not that far behind me.
Mm-mm. No, no, no. I graduated in 2010. So yeah, like 06, 07 ish, right
Yeah,
around
I'm
that
oh 06.
timeline. Yeah. So that's when it became real. But then, man, there was so many years until, Disney and they dropped their, the sequels and all of that. So there was like a gap. And I know in that time there was like Clone Wars and stuff like that, but I wasn't really watching animation at that time. So it wasn't until the sequels came out again, I was like, yo, like new Star Wars. It was like the first one. I was like, we went to see it and I was like, oh, okay, it was okay. Like, but that was kind of like the jump start again back into all of this. So yeah, so that's kind of my little journey there and how it began. And then actually about 4 years ago, roughly, I went to Galaxy's Edge and I was like, you know what? Like, I saw all the advertisements and all this. I was like, I need to go. Like, I need to see this thing. And it just so happened that the first night I was there was a Star Wars like lightsaber meetup, and I had no idea. And it was just packed, people with lightsabers and the whole nine. And I was like, dude, Like, this is insane. I
Mhm.
want a lightsaber. Like, I've always wanted one, but I didn't even know, like, at that time, like, people actually, like, bought them, like, for, like, toys and stuff, like, besides, like, the regular ones where you just, like, whip out and they go whoosh,
Yeah.
the telescoping. These things were, like,
Dude,
doing craziness.
I still own one.
Do
The
you
little
really?
telescope ones? Yeah, I think they're
Oh,
hilarious. I have
dude,
a
I see them
Vader
at
one.
Target. Do you really? I see them at Target, like, with, like, the faces on them, like, the new versions of them. It has, like,
Mhm.
Ahsoka or, like, Boba Fett. I'm like, "That's whack." Like, I don't know.
No, I like the
Um
old school ones.
oh, yeah, because they actually look like the hilts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so I'm seeing these lightsabers. They're going wild because at this time, like, NeoPixel was already a thing. And, I go to, Doc Ondar's, which is where they sell the lightsabers, and I'm like, I want a lightsaber. Like, I am purchasing one today. And I'm at the table, and she's showing me, the lady's showing me the lightsabers, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, why does it look so dim and so, like, I don't know, not as cool as the ones I was seeing out there. So I asked the lady, I was like, hey, um, are there, like, different, like, pricing tiers of lightsabers? Because, like, these look really dim. I want the ones that, like, I see outside that are, like, really bright, like, doing all the crazy things? And she's like, "Oh, those lightsabers are from off planet." And I'm like, "Off planet? What does that even mean, off planet?" And she's like, like, they got them off of in a different planet. Like, they weren't purchased here in Batu. I'm like, "Oh,
Oh.
those are not Disney lightsabers." Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. And so I was like, you know what? Like, I'm not going to spend all this money here. I'm just going to go and do some research. And that night I went back to the hotel, started watching a crazy amount of YouTube videos. And that was the beginning where I was like, you know what? I can do this. Like, I already buy a bunch of stuff anyway, like Star Wars related at that point already. I just never owned a lightsaber. I was like, I can
Mhm.
make reviews. Like, I can do this thing. I was like, I don't know how to do it right this second, but I can do it. Like, I'll figure it out. It's gonna suck right now, but I'm sure I'll get better, you know? And a little over a year and a half later of, like, saying, hey, I'm gonna create content, here we are. And, well, my content has grown tremendously. So
Yeah, and you've been
yeah,
kicking ass with the, lightsaber reviews with our creator sponsors, Vader Sabers.
that's right, Vader
Dude,
sabers.
they're my first NeoPixel saber I've ever owned. They're phenomenal.
Really?
Yeah, I've never owned a NeoPixel. I've always bought what is it called? The Black Series versions. I always think they're so
Yeah.
badass. And it's because I
Mm-hmm.
also am like a big fan of the box covers.
Yes, yes, yes.
So that's another reason why I purchased them. But yeah, they were my first company to do the NeoPixels. And I was excited when they were like, oh, do you want to review our lightsabers? I was like, yes,
Absolutely. Yeah,
I
Vader
will.
Sabers is insane. I know the owner personally. He's awesome. We got to hang out actually in Galaxy's Edge about, I
That's
don't know,
cool.
7, 8 months ago. He's awesome people. So if you guys are ever looking for a lightsaber, check out Vader Sabers. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah.
They got everything. I mean, they got everything from all of the character hilts. They got non-character hilts. You could get them weathered, non-weathered. I mean, you name it, Vader Sabers basically has it. So I don't
Yeah.
think there's anything I've looked for that Vader Sabers didn't have. So it's pretty dope.
Dude, the one that they sent me to review was I love the hilt because it was inspired by NASA. It looks like one of
Oh,
yes. So as soon as I saw that hilt, I literally felt like, "Oh, I'm so majestic. I love it. I feel very regal. Like this is a regal."
yeah. It's
Yeah.
a pretty hilt.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
Yeah, it's
I
very
was like
pretty, very elegant.
my boyfriend was holding it and I was like, "Don't." I was like, "Don't drop it." I was like, "It's a very
Please,
pretty hilt."
please don't drop it.
Yeah.
Oh, that would suck. You get a big old dent or scratch in it or something.
I was like,
That would
"It's your
be
fault."
that would be miserable.
Yeah.
Good. Well, yeah, enjoy it. I mean, the NeoPixels compared to, like, what Hasbro or Disney does is, I mean, night and day. You can't even
Yeah.
compare. Can't
Can't.
even compare. The color
And what's funny
changing,
was I
all
was
that.
actually going to like purchase one of the Vader sabers to be like the exact same one as one
Mhm.
of the Black Series ones, and I wanted to do a comparison to just show. But
Oh.
automatically, like as soon as you ignite it, it's
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
night and day. It's so bright.
It's so bright because it's got all the LEDs that's going up, where, like, the Hasbro Black Series or, like, the Disney versions, they kinda go
Mhm.
up in this, like, block ignition sequence because it's, like, sections of LEDs instead of, like, where the NeoPixel has I forget how many, but there's LEDs, like, every, like, couple centimeters or whatever it is, and it goes all the way up the blade instead of it going in blocks. So,
Yeah.
like, yeah, so it goes it's just I don't know, the technology is crazy. I don't know how they do it, but whoever's making those things, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Whoever's in the factory getting those things together, I appreciate you.
Mhm.
Craziness, craziness. All right. So next question. Next question I got for you. So, what are some of your daily habits that have the biggest impact on your life that have translated into you becoming like a better creator? So, like for me, like let's say at work, there's some things that I do where I get to work, I'll look at my calendar, look at my emails and all of that, and then I'll write like a to-do list for me today where these are like my non-negotiables. You know, like I have to get these things done. And it's something I've been doing for years. And when I became a creator, I was like, yo, like if I'm gonna be serious about this and I need to be doing this like legitimately and be consistent, I just got to translate what I do at work at home, you
Yeah.
know? So I'll write like a non negotiable list for the week and then I'll break it up into days. And because I do that, it's allowed me to become more consistent because I'm not a kid anymore. Like I got a wife, got a baby on the way, I got a crazy stressful job. Like there's so many things going on in life that I can't just create content all day. It's not possible. So
Mhm.
I needed to basically make a way for me to stay diligent.
Yeah.
So what are some things that you do that make you a better creator? Because you're killing it. I mean, your Instagram with your posts and the podcast and all of that, with all the photos too and like the cosplays and all of that, like that takes a lot of time that people don't understand how much time all of this takes, right? Like even as simple as making a video, right? You got to make the video. How long does it take just to record it? Then you have to edit it, and then you have to make a thumbnail, and then you got to write a description, and then you got to
Yeah.
post it, right? There's so many things that are um what's the right word that people don't see on the back end, but that takes hours, right? So you're doing all of that, you're scheduling time for your podcasts, you're creating your cosplays which take a hot minute, and the photography and the posting, like you're doing a lot. And I just want people to appreciate all the work that you put into that because I see it because I'm a creator and I know what it takes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know what it takes. So like what are some things that you do that allow you to like be able to stay consistent?
Um, so normally when I get to work, I have 3 computer monitors. So like 2 of my computers are for work, and
Hmm.
then the other monitor has like Star Wars news. I'm reading, my actual news. Like I look at sports, like, I'm a big sports fanatic. So I'm
Yeah.
like catching up on anything that's going to be circulating soon with news cuz if I really had it my way, I would have just did a sports podcast and would have talked about sports all day.
Right.
But, I like to catch up on sports because, my boyfriend's really big on that. So we discussed with that, especially with like baseball season rolling in.
Hmm.
But, I sometimes will look and be like, okay, well, this week I want to do this. Like I made a goal in the beginning of 2024 that I had certain cosplays that I really wanted to do. And like this year, the biggest one was that I wanted to do like the Lady Thrawn. And
Yeah.
that was am I allowed to curse? I was gonna say that was a bitch to
Yeah.
do
Yeah. Yeah.
because, I was blue
Yeah.
and I had to put on a very white suit. And that was like, oh my God, please don't get paint.
Oh, I didn't even think about
Yeah.
that.
And like at the same time, like I had forgotten 2 items in my car. So like I had to run to my car. My neighbors are
Hmm.
staring at me like they think I'm some crazy person.
Oh.
dressed in a white suit and blue.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so like, I always, in the beginning, like when the year first starts, I always hit like I tell myself the same thing with you, like achievement goals. And I tell
Yeah.
myself, like, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to be at. This year, like last year I was at 6,000 followers on
It's crazy.
Instagram. And I was like, my goal is I need to do a little bit more content, do more research and figure out like what is it that's making stuff better.
Yeah.
One of my really good friends, Joey the Padawan collector, who does like vintage Star Wars, was telling me one day, and I always said he's like a mentor to me, that he's like, you have to do a reel every morning before he goes between 8 and 9. You got to do a reel every day.
Like post it
And
or make one?
like make a reel. Yeah, like either you make it or you can make them in advance or post them.
Mhm.
So in the beginning, I was like, damn, dude, that's a lot of reels. So
Seriously.
I remember in the beginning of last year when I was only at 6,000 followers, I was sitting on the couch with my boyfriend and kept telling him, I was,
Only.
yeah,
Only
only.
6,000.
Yeah. I was like, what can I do to get myself a little bit better? So I was like, you know what? That same night I was supposed to be going out with my girlfriends to go do this thing called emo night, where it's like
Okay.
they play rock music and you're just
Yeah.
having a good time singing sad music with your friends.
I'm
Like,
about it.
I'm about it.
Mhm.
I was a big rocker in high school. I had blue hair and I still
Nice.
have gauges. But yeah, so I kept thinking to myself, like, emo. The kids in this generation now love a lot of sad stuff.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
was like, let me do a test run. So the first test run was, scenes in Star Wars that broke me, like things that made people uber emotional. So like the
Wow.
first reel I did was when Darth Maul kills Satine in front of Kenobi.
I think I seen that one.
Yeah. So I did
Yeah.
that. And my other friend Gabe, Star Wars Replicas, was telling me that you have to pick music that is very popular. So I was looking for very depressing music, like
Mm.
very sad music. And
Yeah.
the first reel I did, it did very well. So I was like, okay,
Alright.
I'm gonna fill it out. And then, I'm sitting on the couch, and that's what I did. I sat on the couch and I did my top 25 like horrific scenes that ever happened in Star Wars that like made you emotionally sad.
Yeah.
And the one that I was not expecting to take off was the scene between Hera, Kanan, and Ezra when Kanan kills, he basically
Right.
saves them but he risks his own life. And
Yeah.
I used probably one of the saddest songs that was out that year. And I'm looking at it right now. I ended up doing, where is it? I ended up doing with that video was 361,000 views. And people,
Damn.
yeah, and like people were reposting it. And that's the thing. Like you want people reposting this stuff. So I had like 2,813 people reposting it.
Wow.
301 people were commenting. And they were just like, yeah, oh my God, why did you post this? Now I'm reliving my Star Wars Rebels trauma. Like people were just like sad. And then people were like, oh, that was the greatest song that you could pick for that scene.
Yeah.
So I started doing that little concept. So then afterwards, I really enjoyed using CapCut. So I'm like, you know what? I want to make more of these.
Yeah.
So just kept, picking out different scenes, editing them, playing really good music. And then, the one that I just most recently posted was I started using some of the stuff on CapCut where they do like comedic stuff, and I was using it towards Star Wars. So
Okay.
when they made the announcement for that they're bringing Phantom Menace into the theaters,
Right.
I posted, Walter White and Jesse like high-fiving each other. And I was like prequel fans on, Thursday theaters May 3rd.
Yep.
And I didn't think it was gonna blow up. And today, like one of my friends and I were talking about it, and I looked, and then my boyfriend and I were just talking about it. This is probably gonna be the first video in years that I've ever made that I'm probably gonna be in tears when if it does, because it keeps going up, it's
Right.
almost about to hit 1,000,000. And
No
I
way.
yeah, I'm at 916,000.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so, for other people, they don't see it as like like a not a prize, but like, something, I feel like I've been busting my butt recently for like the past year, and just to see
Mhm.
something like that for something that I'm very passionate about, and I do it because this is my passion.
Right.
It's nice that people actually appreciate anything that I'm putting out there into the galactic universe.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what's beautiful about that is that you you don't we both, and a lot of us like that are in our group, we don't do this because we are looking for some sort of like break moment. We do this because we genuinely and passionately care about this genre, right?
Yeah.
And all you did was take an emotion that you had and tie it like, with a photo or a video and put it together because that's how you genuinely felt and people connected with it on a big way.
Yeah.
I mean, to have 900 plus thousand views on something, that's huge. That just doesn't happen because like the algorithm's like, oh, you know what? We're just gonna pick this video. No, like it's because people are sharing it and they're rewatching it and it's getting engagement. So then it's pushing it, and
And
that's
that's the one
huge.
thing that I absolutely love about content creating. I love the engagement because,
Yeah.
I'm looking at right now at this video, like people are writing, that's exactly how I felt when I heard that the movie was coming back in theaters. Then,
Yep.
you've got the other people who are not positive about it, and they're like, why the hell are they bringing back a terrible prequel to the theaters? And
Yeah.
then that just starts like people just going off in a
Crazy.
spectrum, where like one guy here, he had commented going, why are you going to watch this in theaters and pay top dollars when you can watch this on Disney Plus? This guy got 218 people loving that comment. But it
No.
yeah, but it shows engagement, and here you get to meet people that you don't know. And but for
Right.
me, it's something exciting because when that moment was announced, I was very happy because I'm like, holy crap, May
Yeah.
3rd, that's a Friday. I'm going to take
Yeah.
Friday off from work. I'm going to go spend it in the theaters and go watch The Phantom Menace. I'm probably going to wear my Jar Jar Binks mask that I have and dress up like Sith Lord Jar Jar.
Yeah.
And then the next day, it's May the 4th. It's a Saturday. I have off. And
Party.
I'm going to go hang out at a comic book shop and go hang out with Darth Maul, Ray Park. And that's going to be my awesome May the 4th weekend.
You can't beat it.
No, you can't beat it.
No, you
I
can't beat
I
that.
wanted so badly to go to Star Wars Galaxy Edge just for
Mhm.
May the 4th, but at the
Right.
same time it's so saturated with so many people, and the
Yeah.
fact that I get to experience a double prequel, and even though I've already met Ray Park, I think that's just he's down the street from my house, a comic book shop that he's going to be there for May the 4th.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Oh, Chris just said, he said, we're gonna get a dope popcorn bucket."
Oh my god, that's all I want is a
Oh,
popcorn bucket.
that'd be so dope.
I
You think they'll actually do that?
Probably. I don't know because they didn't do it for Return of the Jedi, but
Nope.
when I went to go see it, it was awesome because, it was something I got to experience with my boyfriend. We watched it
Right.
together, and, it was fun to see people my age, little kids, people my parents' age. We were all in the theaters, and like no one had nothing negative to say. Everybody was quiet, and we just had one thing in common, and that was Star Wars. And
Yeah.
that's one thing that I tell people all the time, like, I've and I'll get deep for a split second, but I
Please,
have
please.
struggled with, mental health for a very long time. I've had some really bad
Yeah.
shit happen to me, as a child.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I would say that has been, besides my boyfriend, that has been the most consistent, persistent, and the only thing that makes me happy in life is Star Wars.
Mm.
Anytime I'm upset, I watch Star Wars. Anytime I'm happy, I want to watch Star Wars. There's
Yeah.
nothing that Star Wars can do for me. And one of my biggest things that I loved about that I appreciate for one of the friendships that I made was, Diamond Figs. He said one time that I just want good Star Wars, or I just want to be able to see more Star Wars content. It
Yeah,
could be crappy or not, but the fact that like
we're
even
getting
some
it.
of the we're getting it,
Yeah,
which is great.
100%. I mean, how long of a time like span did we go with nothing,
Nothing.
you know? And now we're getting it and people are still complaining.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, granted, I want good Star Wars too. Like, I want something thoroughly written. I want it to be cohesive with the story and all of that, just because that's the nerd in me. But at the same time, like, I'd rather have this than nothing at all. But I know some
Exactly.
people have a different perspective on that. They're like, I'd rather have nothing at all. I'm just not that person. You know, I am. I would say I'm a little bit more easily pleased. You know, because I don't. At the same time, like it's Star Wars, even though Star Wars is like a huge portion of my life, but the if it's still just content, like you know what I mean? Like it's not, I don't know. I just I don't take it as deep as somebody else. People get like super pissed, and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
they get super pissed. They're gonna be like rioting in the streets, and I'm just like, you know what? Like I get it. Like there's some content where I was like, like that wasn't my favorite, but I'm not smashing windows, like, about it,
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like
I felt bad because like a couple of like groups, I had to like pause them, like put them on mute and not
yeah,
read any negative stuff, especially when Ahsoka came out because
yeah,
everybody was complaining in the first couple episodes of Ahsoka how like Rosario was just very stern. Yeah, she was like this. And in my mind, like, I'm like, I feel like the people who are making these comments are not people who have actually invested into this character. And
yeah,
like, people needed to understand this woman saw nothing but death. All her friends have all died.
right, and she's older at this point.
And she's older. So imagine you experience this from childhood trauma to
Yep,
adolescent trauma to then, becoming a woman to then being a grown ass woman. You are very, tough. And
calloused,
you're very callous. Yes. And I feel
yes.
like that was the reason why I have always very bonded with that character because
Mm,
I feel like that was my life as well.
yeah,
But, I had to turn some people off because they were just bashing the shit out of it, and it's
yep,
not because I'm an Ahsoka fan, but it's just like I wanted to see what it was gonna continue to turn into. And then you start
yes,
seeing it, she started softening up, and it's because
yes,
she had to have that conversation with her master to be able to turn into a better version of herself.
100%. Yeah, and I feel like people don't give it a chance, like, it's as we saw as it developed and it went through the whole season, like you said, she softened up, right? And the whole like arm crossing in every, in every scene and all that, like it was on purpose. It wasn't like, you know what I mean? Because so you can see the character development and the arc of the character eventually to the end of the season,
Yeah.
and some people just automatically episode one, episode two, like, oh, this is crap. I'm like, yo, like, give it a chance. Like, the
We
story
were all
hasn't even unfolded yet.
we were also getting if I'm doing my math correctly, we were getting an Ahsoka that was between the age of 50 and 55. So she
So
is just
she's
she's
old.
she's old. She's experienced a little stuff.
She's
Give,
been
give,
around the block.
she's been around the block. Like give her a little pass.
Yeah. I mean, could you imagine going through the things that she has gone through? Like you were saying, she's basically a child soldier, and that alone, being so young and witnessing all the things that she has witnessed is going to chemically just jack you up because as a child, really as anybody, you're not supposed to experience the things that she had experienced at such a young age. And
Mhm.
then you just compile that through years, decades, and now we re-meet her again for the Ahsoka series, and we expect her to be like super chipper and happy and like bubbly
No.
and be the Snips we knew from Clone Wars? Absolutely not. And if they did that, that would have been a disservice and not realistic.
Mhm.
So sorry, I got a little passionate, but
Oh no, trust me. I was like this. during the season. Like, and people were like, why is she being that way? And I was like, what is wrong with you people? I
People
was like,
just
give
don't.
it time. And then as soon as the episode happened, where they reenacted the Clone Wars, everybody was like,
Mhm.
oh my God, Ahsoka's the greatest show ever. I'm like, where were
Yep.
you guys 4 episodes ago?
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Yeah, I think it was like what, episode 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, that episode was insane.
Dude, I was in my couch hysterically crying. My boyfriend goes into the kitchen because he was doing his wrestling podcast with his friends in the other room.
Oh, awesome.
And he just looks at me and he goes, are you going to make it? Because I was like this on the couch and I was just like shaking and you could hear me crying. And like as
Yeah.
soon as they showed the whole Clone Wars scene, I was like, "Oh my God, this is really happening." And
Oh, yeah.
I was recording my whole reaction and I was like, "I can't post this." I was like, "I look terrible."
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah, it's I don't know, man. I don't know that scene, especially one that where Anakin's coming and then it flashes with him to Vader with the
Yes.
thunder. I lost it. Absolutely lost it. I stood up, I had to pause it. I was like, cut the show. Cut the
Oh
show.
no, dude, when the episode was over, I sat like this on the couch and I was just like, "Holy crap. I have
Mhm.
never cried this hard." I was like, I
Yeah.
cried this hard in the series finale of the Clone Wars, but I was like, "Oh my God, I have never cried this hard." And then
Yeah.
like the next day, people were like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "No, I emotionally cannot speak to anybody right now. I have not stopped crying."
Oh yeah. Yeah, that seems crazy and like that's a episode, right? But that's a section of Star Wars that we will all, cuz that was an episode where the fandom as a collective had no issues with it. Everybody was just like mind blown. I didn't see any negative for that particular, episode.
Yeah.
Um and that would be an episode that we will take with us and it will be like embedded in our hearts forever.
And the thing is, I had a good friend of mine who got to see that episode in theaters when they did that. And they messaged me and they were like, Nilda, because that same night I went out to dinner with my family. And I
Yeah.
I literally messaged everybody. I'm like, please do not message me. Please do not say anything. I'm not going to be on social media. I literally deleted my Instagram button just so that I wasn't on and no one could I couldn't get any notifications. Had dinner, we get back home and I'm like, "Okay, I'm going to watch it." But before I like deleted all my stuff, my friend goes, "Dude, saw it in theaters. I'm just letting you know now, Nilda, you," he goes, "You of all people," and he like wrote it in big captions. He's like, "This is dedicated to you." He's like,
Wow.
your type of fandom." And I was like, "Oh shit." Literally, I was like, "Oh my God." And as soon as we got home, I literally told my boyfriend, I'm like, "Okay, bye, bye. I don't care what you do." I was like, "I'm going to the living room."
Oh
And then
yeah.
I started watching it.
Oh man. Luckily my wife likes to watch Star Wars with me. I got her into it. So it's really easy. I'm like, "Okay, new episode right now." She's like, "Cool." So we turning off the lights, turn the surround sound on, like we dim everything. We got our little snacks. We're like, we're doing this. So it's an event. So like, unfortunately though, like right now, because it's Bad Batch Eve as of right now.
Yeah.
We don't get it though until like 3 a.m. And I'm like, what the heck? So we
Yeah,
won't do it till tomorrow.
I did that for the series premiere. I woke up at
Mm-hmm.
3 a.m. to watch it and I was like, yeah, I can't do this every week. I have to get up
No.
at 5 a.m. for work. I gotta be at
Yep.
work at 6:30. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I
No, no,
can't.
no.
I started watching it now as I'm getting ready for work. I like put it
Oh, okay.
on. Yeah,
Yep.
and I'm like in the bathroom doing all my makeup and then just watching everything. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's dope. I get up right around the same time as you get ready for work, so I'm in that same predicament. But for me, because I don't know, I want to like sit there and just like, you know, focus on it. I'll wait. I'll just wait because I'm not doing any reaction videos or anything like that. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter, when I watch it, as long as I watch it that day. But the problem is that with them releasing it at 3, all of the spoilers that I'm gonna see like on Instagram and YouTube and all of that, and that's a challenge. I wish like they did with, I believe it was with Ahsoka, where they were releasing it. What was it, at like 10, 11, or something like that?
Yeah.
Why don't they do that again? Like, it's blows my mind. Why
I
3 a.m.?
think the
Because even in
only
California,
reason
it's
why
12.
I know, but I think the only reason why they did that with Ahsoka because the ratings were so high for it, and it was the
Mhm.
highest rating live action Star Wars show that they've ever had. And the ratings
Mm.
for it were so phenomenal that they were like, "Yeah, we are just gonna have to, you know,
Yeah.
give to what the fans want."
I just wish they would do that for everything, like, because then, I gotta wait basically almost 24 hours the next day almost, to
Yeah.
watch it, and I'm just kinda like, "That sucks." That sucks. So speaking of Bad Batch, how do you think this episode, not this episode, but this season's gonna go? In terms of the timeline, like what do you think it's setting up? Like, do you think, like, I don't know, I kind of have a feeling that either a couple of them are gonna survive or they're all gonna die or something like that. Something crazy if this is the last season? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, like, my brain's everywhere because I've literally have sat at work and I've just been like, "What if this could be true? What if this could be true?" And I've literally have had a notepad in front of me and I've written everything down and I'm just like, "Wait a second, they can go this route, they can go that route."
Yeah.
And I don't know, I feel like if I was somebody making a show like that, I wanna go for the gut punch and, like,
Mm.
leave everybody upset and hysterically crying.
Especially it being
And
the last season.
yeah, especially being the last season, you get rid of all of them. Or, you kill off one main character that really destroys them. I felt everybody was destroyed by Tech, but I feel like if
Yeah.
you really wanted to go with the gut punch, you have Hemlock kill Omega
Yep.
in front of Hunter and Wrecker. And I think that that would be the worst thing for them. And, you know,
Yeah.
they basically the premise of her is she needs to be needed
Yeah.
for what Palpatine was able to do.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I feel like something is going to happen to her. If I really
Jeez.
wanted to think in the most positive aspect, I would wish that all of them survived and Crosshair and Hunter get back to being friends and they all drift off and go live in an happy island and Hunter could be
Yeah.
a dad to Omega. But I don't know, it's Disney. They can go any route. I've also have come to the theory that I feel that Tech is still alive and that soldier that we saw in the trailer, I feel like they
Mm.
did a Bucky Rogers on him and
Okay. Yep.
found him, basically deprogrammed him again and now
Yep.
he's the new Crosshair and that's going to be one of the biggest surprise ever is that one of their own was returned again.
That's how I feel the same way about Tech. I feel the exact same way. I think he's still alive. They reprogrammed him, put him in the mind flare or something,
Mhm.
and now he's the new, yeah, Crosshair. And I think with Crosshair, because see, something I was thinking about is that his relationship now with Omega, you could see it getting better, where before
He's
it was
he's
obviously a hot
softening
mess.
up.
He's softening up. He's got the handshake. So I almost feel like he might, because okay, so in the last episode where he's walking down out of the ship and Hunter and Wrecker is greeting Omega and whatever, and they like tense up and all that, and that's how like the episode ends. I think like there's going to be some, I don't know, I'm just thinking some conflict there, and he might sacrifice himself basically to, I don't know, like make amends in a sense, like, yo, like I'm really for you, like I'm sorry, and
Yeah.
basically sacrifice himself because now that he's so softened up, he's got that relationship with Omega. I think that's really, we're seeing him change. That's also like having us fall in love with him a little bit more, and then they're just gonna rip him.
I also
Oh,
had this super wild theory and like I wrote it down a while ago. But I know it's not true, but this is how my brain works. So in Clone Wars, they had a defective clone by the name of Clone 99.
okay, yep,
So I had thought of this wild ass theory that what if Crosshair, because if you look at their pictures, they look kind of similar.
Yeah.
What if Crosshair was actually clone number 99, and what we're watching right now is actually what he is dreaming of before he had actually died? Because
Holy
he
crap.
had the same issues. He had tremors.
Mhm.
He helped with giving the uniforms to all the other better clones,
Right.
and he died sacrificing himself to make sure that his brothers were okay.
Jeez.
Yes, so I thought this, like, weird theory that I was like, "What if Crosshair is really clone number 99?" Which I know it's not true, but if you kinda look at them, they look a little similar.
I mean, hey, it's possible.
Yeah,
I don't
anything is
know.
possible.
Anything's possible. That would be insane. That would be insane. I have a Bad Batch hat. It says like Clone Force, whatever. It's all black and red, and it
Mhm.
has like 99 on the
Yeah.
side, actually, which is crazy. So that would be that'd be pretty cool. I'm hoping for that now. I'm hoping for that.
'Cause I'd be like, "You know what? I said it," and people looked at me like I was nuts.
No, 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 no. I'm with you. I'm with you.
'Cause I have this thing,
Jeez.
so, like, we were talking about routines, so, like,
Yeah.
another thing that I love to do, and that's just to get myself a little bit more knowledgeable with characters, planets, droids, anything.
Yeah.
I have, like a paper dice.
Okay.
What I do is I wrote down certain categories, objects, anything of Star Wars, and I'll roll my dice every day. And if it lands on like planet, I go on
Mhm.
Wikipedia and I learn
Okay.
about a planet.
Really?
Yeah, so one day I rolled and I got clones because I wanted to learn about every clone, their names, what their color schemes are.
Yeah.
And I landed on clones. So I was like, okay, let me look it up. So I put, the most impressive clones on Google, and the thing popped up, clone number 99. And I was like, who's this? So and then as I started reading it, I was like, oh my God, that's the clone in Clone Wars. And I was like, oh, and then I started reading more about him. But I do that every day. I read a
I
new
love that.
thing.
I absolutely love
I
that.
think I've
I
been
haven't
doing
heard of
that
that.
now for like 2.5 years.
Really?
Yeah, so, like I said, I make a little paper dice,
Yeah.
and I write down everything, and then I turn it. Flip it around, it lands on the table, and whatever
Right.
it lands on, that's what I learn for the day.
I'm gonna have to do something like that. I love that. I absolutely love that. That's dope. That's so
Yeah,
dope.
and I hopefully always pray that when I roll my little dice, it lands on something new, because I don't wanna learn about planets every day. Like
Right.
today I wanna learn about planets. Tomorrow I wanna learn about droids. Today I rolled on a planet, so I got to learn more about like Mustafar, got to read more about it. So it's like, I eventually, when people wanna do a quiz game with me, I could better myself as, a Star Wars fan.
For sure. Dude, that's dope. I'm gonna have to do that. I have
Dude,
and now I'm gonna
it's
make a
fun.
paper dice.
It's fun. Like I told you, I've been doing it for 2 years. It's so much fun, and I've been doing it every day.
Oh, all right. All right. Check back in with me in a week. If I haven't made a paper dice, get on my case. Get on my case. You had said something a while ago where you were talking about like you were like, oh, I'm gonna get deep and then talk about mental health issues and stuff like that. So I align with that. So you're not alone. I wanted to make sure that I said that. I do a lot of anxiety and stress, and it really like sometimes is crippling and
Mhm.
have attacks and stuff, especially like with my job. So you're not alone. So something that I do for that, something about like it's which is beautiful about Star Wars is that there's so many different things in the fandom that still make it under the umbrella of Star Wars, whether that's collecting, whether that's the the actual films or the animations, toys, music, making the puppet like the puppets, like the behind the scenes things. There's so many things
Mhm.
within the fandom of Star Wars. And so, one thing that I do when I'm having like a really stressful time, especially like Sunday nights, knowing that I'm going like back into work is like really bad for me. I will throw on like Star Wars like lo-fi
Yes,
and
I love
I'll
it.
love it, and I will build Legos. And I'll build ships and stuff like that. And to be honest with you, like as soon as the music starts playing, it's like almost like this sense of peace comes
Yeah.
over me. And there's been times where I've just like I'm not too like macho to say it, but I've just cried, like because of the peace that like that music, that
Mhm.
song, like that moment that song like means to me, because all these songs, they're tied to a certain section of a movie or a show or something. And I don't know, it brings me back to like that place of peace. And
Yeah.
that's a big thing for me with Star Wars too. Like, of course I love like the movies and I love the shows and I love like all the toys and all the things, but for me it's a sense of peace where I get to play that and it makes me feel like I'm a child again where there was no worries.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, for me,
yeah.
like I have my highs and I have my lows. And
Right.
you know, about like 3.5 years ago, I had some really bad stuff happen. And,
Mm.
I thought I was at my lowest, but, my boyfriend is an amazing man. He literally
He
helps me
looks
out a
cool.
lot. Oh, he's the best. He literally helps me. He knows when I'm going through like my lows, and he's like the ultimate best. I literally got blessed with him. But
Yeah.
yeah, he knows like, the days that I come home and if I have a Lego set, like, I'm trying to get myself back centered. And,
Yeah.
like I said, depression is really bad.
Yeah.
I feel bad for anybody who suffers from it. I've been having it for a very long time. And the days that, it's at its highs, within like the past couple weeks, I've been at my highs. And, today I went to Barnes and Nobles and I bought the new Millennium Falcon Lego set. So I'm going to be building that this week when I come
Which
back
one'd you
from,
get?
I got the Millennium Falcon one,
But like
the
which
little
one?
baby, the baby version of it, the new one that just came out.
I don't
Here,
think
I can
yeah.
I can get it real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, go get it, go get it, go get it. Because I think I might have it. Let's see it.
All right, so yeah, this is the newest one I just picked up.
Oh, that's dope. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, so this is the where is it? It's a 25-year anniversary for Legos.
How big? It's gonna be like this big?
Like that big?
See, that's what I need because I have this one and I haven't built it because I'm like, where am I gonna put it?
I have the Han Solo one.
This thing is huge.
Yeah, no, I have the real big Han Solo one.
Like the black box.
Yeah,
Oh, that's crazy.
I got that as a gift like a couple years ago, and I will not build that.
Yeah, like yeah, I mean, you know how long that's gonna take?
Yeah, this one's only 921 pieces, so it's gonna be a fun little project.
That's not bad. That's a good like weekend project. This one, I don't know how big this one is. Let's see. Ugh. It's a lot of pieces, I'll tell you that. Oh, it's not that much more. It's 1351.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, it just the box is huge and it's heavy, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I
this
don't know
one's
what the
pretty
deal
heavy.
is. Is it?
So yeah, they
Yeah.
had this one at Barnes and Nobles, and they had the Tantive 5, and they only had one of these. So I was like, you got 9 Tantive 5s, but you only have one of these. I'm buying this one
Yeah.
first.
How much is that?
This one was 84.99, but I had like a $50 gift card to Barnes and Nobles. So yeah.
Heck yeah. What's up, Flex? Welcome to the chat.
Hi, Flags.
Um, yeah, that's not bad at all. Especially the gift card. No brainer.
Yeah.
No brainer.
But normally, like I said, like, we dabbed a little bit into mental health. Like, yeah, that's building Legos or me doing like little prop replicas sometimes at home. Like, that's
Yeah,
one of the biggest, like, disconnect from the world things that I love to
for
do.
sure. No, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it really allows you to focus in on that one thing because that one thing is what you're able to control,
Mhm.
full circle, where there's so many things on the outside world where we can't control. And a lot of times that's where like the stress and the anxiety and depression and all those things kind of creep in because there's a lot of things in those circumstances that we can't control. But when we are building a Lego set or we are building props or anything like that, we can fully control that full outcome because it's all us. And I
Yeah.
think that makes a big difference. It really gets us through that moment. So I align with you on that. It's pretty cool. It's pretty
Yeah,
cool. So
it's always nice to have, fellow friends who suffer from
for sure,
that
for sure.
anxiety, 'cause my
And it's not
anxiety
just
is
me.
terrible. Yeah,
It's
and
terrible.
that that was one of the I'll be honest with you, that was, like, one of the main reasons why I got into YouTube was because I wanted to start getting a
Yeah,
little bit more of control of my anxiety.
for sure. No, no, I agree. I mean, besides like obviously like collecting and all that stuff, like with all the craziness I have that goes on with work, I was like, I need to start doing something for Gianni. Like I
Mhm.
need to do something for me that fills my soul, fills my spirit, because it was dimming and I needed, help getting it illuminated again. And that's what this has been for me. So yeah, it's a
And
piece of that.
and I'll tell you this now for somebody who's been doing YouTube for almost 3 years, you're gonna sometimes gonna wanna take a break.
Yeah.
Like, like I said, I did YouTube, I went full blast, all, going deep, going
Yeah.
crazy, doing everything. And then, I took a 6-month sabbatical, came back, started doing videos. And because now my job is a little bit more hectic, I had told myself that I'm just not gonna put myself on a schedule. When
Yeah.
I'm able to release something, I'll release something, but I have more of a control with Instagram.
Yeah.
But like occasionally there'll be, we live in Florida. There's always shows going on. So like, this weekend I'm flying to Virginia to go hang out with my brother, but we're
Cool.
also going to do the Hayden Christensen and Rosario Dawson meetup.
Oh,
So that's, that'll be something that I can do a video about, talk about it, probably film the whole segment of it.
for
But
sure.
but I'm not going to, put myself on a strict one. I'm just going to take it easy and ease myself back into everything.
Yeah. No, I'm not there. I'm still on the balls to the wall situation.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Yeah. So I'm a little over a year and a half in now. And now, as of now, because before when I first started, I was just dropping one video every 2 weeks because filming and editing took me about 2 weeks to edit
Yeah.
because I was so new to it. Um, and then, started dropping a little bit more and more and more over time and getting better. Now I'm in a place where I'm doing a podcast every week and I'm dropping a review every week. So that's about 8 videos a month. That's crazy. It's a
Yeah.
lot. Um,
And imagine I was back then when I was going like full deep. I was
yeah,
doing 4 to 5 toy hunts a week, 2 to 3 reviews. Then, I was on another podcast show years ago, and then we were doing like 2 or 3 shows a week. So I was dropping, in total, even with them, I was doing like maybe 11 shows a week.
crazy.
Yeah, I was dropping something almost every day, sometimes twice a day.
Jeez. Hold on one second. I'm gonna fix my camera real quick. But that's I can hear you. I can hear you though.
Yeah. But no, that's, like I tell people all the time, when you get into, doing YouTube videos, just try not to burn yourself out. Like, have somewhat of a small, um, calendar of what you want to do and not want to do. But I just don't recommend anybody going like fully crazy because you will
Right.
burn yourself out.
Yeah. 100%. Sorry about that. Wanted to make sure it didn't fall on me. But yeah, no, you'll go absolutely insane if I don't know. I mean, but granted too, I've also worked myself up to this. I was
Yeah.
going 2 videos a month and I did that for a few months and then, slowly progressed. And now, we're here. And what's nice about the podcast is that once it goes live, there's not a lot of editing because it's live, but
Yeah.
I do have to do some research, like, especially for people who I don't like know. Yours was easy. I already know you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I
we
didn't really
know
have
each
to,
other.
right. So I didn't really have to prepare too much in terms of like who's Nilda, what you have going on. I'm already a fan, so I'm already like doing the things. So it was really along the lines of like just getting some questions and seeing kind of like where you were at, what's going on, and kind of just having a little bit of preparation. But like podcasts like these are pretty easy. And then once it posts, it posts. But like right now, let's say we're an hour and 10 minutes, 11 minutes in, and that's an hour and 11 minutes in that I've dedicated solely to YouTube, where I could be doing other things, right?
Yeah.
And I'm knee deep in a full edit of another video. It's coming out that'll drop in the next couple days because the Captain Rex helmet from
Yeah.
Hasbro just dropped. So I've got two Captain Rex helmets. I got one down here that's not by Hasbro, and then I've got that one, and it's going to be a full comparison video. That video is going to be
Nice.
dope, but it takes time, doing juggling all this stuff. So, and then with a baby on the way, and then I'm going to be closing on a house in a few weeks.
We'll have this conversation again after
Yep.
you're like 6-7 months into having your child.
Oh, for sure. I'm gonna be
You're
like
gonna be so burnt
slowing
out
it down.
making videos.
Oh, I know. I know. So a conversation I've actually been having with my wife is that to start recording and batching videos now and
Mm-hmm.
then saving them and then like releasing them as, so give me like a little bit of a break.
That's what I
Um
did with my reels. I was making like 20, 30 reels a day and then
wow.
scheduling them on
Yep.
Instagram, going
Yep.
like, okay, I got 30. These are all going to drop this month. I don't have to touch my phone for a month.
Yeah.
And I did that. I did 95 videos in 2 weeks and was having them
95.
yeah, and had them save. I still have them saved on my phone. I've just been like lazy and forgetting to put them uploading them and scheduling them.
Jeez.
But I abuse the hell out of CapCut.
Oh yeah. CapCut's a great app. It does
I love
so
CapCut.
much.
Does everything.
Yeah, I got to get my Reels game up because it's just hard because those Reels, you can multi-purpose them for Instagram, YouTube, all the, TikTok, whatever. But what's hard is that once you get a TikTok or Reels like audience or whatever, they don't watch your long form content.
No,
They just watch the
short
shorts.
stuff. And that's what they like. They like the short stuff.
And I'm just like, I don't know. It feels like, and I don't know if it's because I'm getting older, but I'm like, shorts, like what are we doing? Like, I don't know. I just not my thing. Like, I'll make them to stay relevant, but at the same time I'm like, it's not. I'd rather make a long form content video. um don't know, but all right. So got another question for you.
Okay.
What is the coolest thing that has happened to you since being a content creator for Star Wars?
Oh boy. I don't know, because so many of them, like, you know, well, no, it's still always going to be my favorite story unless like something happens and I get to meet George Lucas. But
That'd be dope.
yeah. Yeah, I got press passes to go to San Francisco last year for my birthday, and I
Dope.
got to meet Mark Hamill, and that was yeah, like I've people have asked me about it before, and that is still to this day the greatest fan experience I've ever had. And it sucks because I've met Hayden now twice. And I still to this day will be like, nope, meeting Mark Hamill was the greatest thing in the world.
Well, I mean, it's Mark Hamill. I mean, he's the
Yeah.
original.
He's the OG of the OG.
Like, he's it. He's the guy.
But and I've said this to people, like I've had opportunities. I've met Anthony Daniels, I've met Ian McDermott, I've met other people. I met Rosario. I cried when I met her, but like
Yeah.
with Mark, I literally felt like my whole existence of life was complete. Like I was ready to go.
Yeah. No. You did the things. That's so
Yeah.
crazy.
I was like, I literally sat there like afterwards and I was telling the kid RMD, I was like, yo, I was like, if I if the plane taking me home crashed, I would not be upset with how my
You're
life
like,
has been. And
I'm
he's like,
good.
"What?" I was like, "Dude, I'm good." I was like, "I have met almost every person in my Star Wars bucket list." I go, "Unfortunately, 2 passed away and 1 doesn't do
Hmm.
conventions."
Right.
I go, "But," I'm like, "I'm just missing the Lord and Savior himself, George Lucas." I was like, "But," I was like, "I've met everybody." I was like, I'm okay to go."
Yeah. Jeez. Did you at MegaCon, did you get any photo ops?
Yeah, so at MegaCon, I was very proud of myself. Within the past couple years, I've been like, "You know what? You're an adult, you're almost 40. You gotta pick and choose your battles and how you want to do stuff."
Yeah.
So yeah, I did a photo op with Gina Carano. I did a photo op with Mina Wang. And
Dope.
then I did a photo op with Sean for Sithcast. And we did the duel with Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen, which was like the dopest thing because
For sure.
I had this awesome Anakin shirt as he's transforming into Vader. And
Yep.
just taking that picture with him, I was like, yeah.
Yeah. I
For the
also
first
did that photo op.
Yeah, because it sucks because the first time I met him was at Florida SuperCon, and I had to take a picture with a glass.
I saw that photo. I saw that
Yes.
photo.
So
That
it sucks.
sucks.
It sucks. So this time around, I'm like, "Yes, you touched me." And it was
Yeah.
funny because I said to him, I go, "I'm finally happy to do this photo." And he goes, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Yeah." I'm like, "Because the first time I met you, I had to take a picture with you in a glass." And he was like, "Oh." He's like,
Yeah.
he goes, "In Miami." And I said, "Yes." And he goes, "Yeah, Florida SuperCon." He's like, "They had us do glasses." And I was like, "Yep."
Why'd they do that? COVID?
Yeah, because that was literally 2021.
Oh, you were deep. We
We
were
were
deep in
we were,
COVID.
like, deep in COVID.
Yeah. I'm surprised they still had the convention at that time.
Yeah, they did, but it was like, you gotta wear a mask all day.
Damn.
Yeah, it
Mm-mm.
was one of those.
I'm glad that's over. My gosh. Mm-mm. Oh, all right. We're gonna move into the last section.
Oh boy. Drum roll, last section question.
It's actually it's 5 questions, and you're gonna pick from 5 categories.
Okay, let's do this.
Let's do this. And they're just fun questions. So
Oh,
you've
okay.
got, and then when you pick one, it'll be eliminated, and then we'll move to the next category. All right.
Okay.
So you've got to choose between creatures, technology, characters, the galaxy, and the force.
Oh, man. Alright, let's go with the Force?
The force? All right. So, first question is scholar, diplomat, explorer, guardian. What kind of Jedi would you be? Would you be a scholar, a diplomat, an explorer, or a guardian?
I would be an explorer because I
Ooh,
just love
why?
to travel,
Okay,
and I would
nice.
love to see all the beyond regions.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I think I teeter between explorer and guardian. I don't know, something about like just protecting like my people, my family is like really like kind of natural for me.
Mhm.
But I also like to travel. So,
Yes. I told myself, and I even said this to Craig, like, we're traveling. We're
yeah.
renewing our passports soon, and we've been talking about, like, going to the Bahamas. Um,
Ooh, have you
like,
been?
when I no, I've always wanted to
Oh,
go.
it's gorgeous.
Me just going to California when I went for my birthday weekend, like, alone, I went by myself, and, like, I
Yeah.
don't do stuff by myself. That's one of my biggest anxieties. I get
Yeah.
very scared, and that was, like, a big achievement for me to go to another state by myself. I knew absolutely nobody, and I
Yeah.
went exploring around, waiting to go back to the airport, and one of the places I ended up going to was, um a place that they got the vision of wanting to film Naboo.
Oh, really?
Yes, and I was there and I was just looking around and I was like, "This is the most beautiful place I've ever been to." And I was probably there for about an hour and a half. I didn't wanna leave.
Oh, I don't blame you. That's dope. I didn't
Yeah.
know that was out there. That's San Francisco?
Yeah, I was in San Francisco and I went to I went to Lucasfilm and took a picture with the golden Yoda
The
fountain.
Skywalker Ranch?
Oh yeah, I hysterically
Oh,
cried. I
oh
cried when I
yeah.
saw the fountain. I was like, this is for real.
Oh man, I didn't know you could just like go in there.
Yeah, you can walk in the outside portions of it. You just can't go in there.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. I'm gonna have to go. Just take some pictures.
Mhm.
Insane, insane. Yeah, have you been to anywhere in the Caribbean?
I've been to the Dominican Republic. Love it.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. But you haven't been to Puerto Rico
No, which is funny. So our layover flight coming
or
back home
Cuba.
from no, and that's my goal, but I'm afraid that if
Crazy.
I go to Cuba, I'm literally gonna try to find family members, and I might be there for more than the time period I know I'm gonna wanna go.
Yeah, yeah. You don't have any family in Puerto Rico?
I don't know. I feel like we do. That's I was gonna ask my dad's side of the family if we have family in Puerto Rico because I didn't really grow up with my dad's side of the family. So like
Gotcha,
I don't really know like that side of where they are in Puerto Rico.
gotcha. You need to go.
Yeah, I've always
Like,
wanted to go to Puerto Rico. I heard it's beautiful.
it's insane. Man, it's something about. Have you been to Hawaii?
No, that's another
Okay,
place I want to go to.
so Hawaii is gorgeous. So I've been to both, and something about the landscape in Puerto Rico is actually very similar to the
In
landscape in
Hawaii.
Hawaii. The differences is like temperature. Puerto Rico is very like humid and very Caribbean, because it's like it has the rainforest and all of that. Hawaii's more like cool temperatures,
Mhm.
kind of similar to California. Um, so I would say those would be like the main differences. And then there's no like in terms of animals in Hawaii, there's not a lot of like predator like animals that'll like hurt you. I don't know why that is, but maybe because it's just in the middle of the ocean. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And so stuff like that, but it's insane. I actually like the water in Puerto Rico better than I like the water in Hawaii because the water in
Yeah, I
Hawaii is very
I like the
moving.
water. I had liked the water in DR, but it's probably
Yeah,
the same water as in Puerto Rico.
it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
I mean, Hawaii, excuse me, DR and Puerto Rico, they're literally like
next to each
dumb
other.
close. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I mean, there's a lot of people that travel like by boat from Puerto Rico to DR because it's that close. It's the
Mhm.
same water. So if you like the water in DR, it's the same thing in PR. So, which is dope. But anyway, the water in Hawaii, it's a lot of movement, there's a lot of churning. So because it's so powerful, all the sand and stuff gets like churned up into the water. So it's not
Oh,
depending
okay.
on what side of the island you are or which island you are, it's not very clear, not because the water is dirty, but because there's a lot of movement in the sand and
With the
stuff.
sand.
Yeah. Where in Puerto Rico, there's not as many waves and stuff. Unless you're like on Rincon, like the side of Rincon, there's a lot of surfing that happens over there. But like the rest of the island, the water's pretty calm. So it's just like
Okay.
crystal clear blue. It's awesome. And we have black beaches in Puerto Rico, black sand beaches,
Nice. Okay.
which is crazy.
I'll definitely add it to the list.
Yeah, add it to the list. You need to go. And it's only like it's like an hour and a half flight.
Yeah, it's only an hour and a half flight.
Like it's just like a weekend trip. You just gotta go. You just gotta go. All right. I could talk about that all day. I'm a big like
I know,
water
me too.
island person, so
Oh yeah,
um
I've got all of it.
covered. I got a little turtle. I don't know if you can see that. That turtle right here. I got all kinds of Puerto Rico things on me. So anywho, all right, the galaxy, characters, technology, or creatures?
Let's go with creatures.
Creatures. All right. So creature says Jabba's Rancor. Jabba's Rancor keeper loves his Rancor. Which Star Wars character do you find cute, even if no one else does?
I have him tattooed on me.
What is it?
My boyfriend, Jabba the Hutt. I have loved this man for the longest time, where I
Oh
tattooed
my
him as
gosh.
close to my heart as possible. Listen,
Oh my gosh, that's
I love
hilarious.
Jabba the Hutt. Love
Do
him.
you really? They were supposed to
Yes.
make a Jabba the Hutt movie.
Yes, love him.
And
I was
that
hoping
got
that we
nixed.
were gonna have Han Solo, or we were gonna have Solo too, and that's where you get to meet Jabba.
That would have been crazy. I would absolutely love that. We'll see
Yeah,
what uh what's his name? Childish Gambino. What's his real name? Donald Glover. Because he's
Donald Glover.
writing.
He's
He's
writing the
writing
Lando series.
right. So I wonder if there's gonna be any kind of overlap with Han and maybe Java. I don't know. That'd
We'll
be
see.
dope.
That'd be
I heard
really dope.
they changed it though from a series to a movie.
I don't know, because the last time I saw him posting something, he was just saying that he's having a hard time getting like the rights.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to look into that. Get some more insight. For me, who is it? Um, Man, I should have thought about this. Ooh, the Anzellans.
Oh, okay.
They're cute,
They are
but they're
cute.
but they're ugly.
They look like little old like Hong Kong
Little
men,
viejitos, yeah.
little viejitos,
I know. Yeah, I would go with the Anzellans.
which
That's
they're
my
actually
choice.
Hot Toys is actually going to be making a life size version of one of the Anzellans.
Really?
Yeah, it looks so creepy, but I want it.
I haven't gotten into the Hot Toys trap yet.
Don't trust me. I'm telling you, don't do it.
Yeah, because they're like
Don't.
$200, $300.
Just listen to a fellow. I told myself would never get into it, and then I messed up and listened to somebody and got into it, and now it's a hole
Oh,
I'm never gonna get out of.
I know. I'm already deep with like the helmets, and they're like half the price, and I'm already like, God damn.
Yeah.
God damn. All right, galaxy, characters, or technology?
We'll go with technology. I'm quite interested in what that question is gonna be.
Technology. What is your favorite Star Wars starship?
Oh, damn, that's a really good question. Oh man.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a starship. It could be like any ship. Let's just go that.
And it's a Lego that I want really bad, but man, I'll probably put it on the credit card one day. I love the Star Destroyer.
Ooh, are you talking about the big black box joint?
Yes.
Yeah,
It is beautiful.
it is.
It
That's
is
something you
a
build.
magnificent ship.
Oh, for sure. That's something you build and you like display it in the house.
Oh yeah, that's something where I'm gonna take a week, or yeah, I'm gonna take a week off from work. I'm willing
Just
to use PTO time
yeah,
to build that at
100%.
home. And I
Oh
will make sure to
yeah.
glue every piece, because once that thing is built, I'm going to display you.
Oh, for sure. Oh, that'd be nice. Take off some days off from work and just like have like a staycation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wake up early in the morning,
Oh, I'm
make
doing
some
that.
cafe bustelo.
Yes,
I
I'm
don't know if
doing
that's
that
what you
very
drink, but
soon.
I
When I
drink a
oh
lot
no,
of cafe
I drink
bustelo.
a lot of coffee. We drink a lot of Cafe Fusello here too,
Oh
because
yeah.
we get like the massive big pints of it. They sell it
Hmm.
at Walmart for like 15.99. If you get it
Oh,
at
for
Publix,
sure.
it's like 24 something.
Yeah, Publix is crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, what I do is because I used to buy like how they come in like those air suction like bricks. I
Yeah.
used to buy those, but now we have like a Keurig, so I get the little like Cafe
The
Bustelo
K cups.
cups, the K cups. It's just easy. I'm just over I'm like boop, yeah,
Yep.
and it's over. Efficiency.
Yes.
Oh man, but yeah, but also too because my wife, excuse me, my wife is Cuban, so she'll also make the little cafecitos
Oh wow.
on the stove. So we got Puerto Rico and Cuba representing in my house. So we're full Caribbean. That baby's gonna be a
Full
full island
Caribbean.
baby.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's an island baby.
All right. The galaxy or characters?
We'll go with characters.
Characters. All right. If you were Grogu, would you have chosen to stay and train with Luke Skywalker or return to the Mandalorian Din Djarin, and why?
I would have stayed with Luke Skywalker.
Me too. Yeah.
That's just me. I know he really loves his Mando, but man, if Luke Skywalker comes to you and says like, "Hey, I'm gonna train you," you stay with Luke Skywalker.
100%.
100%.
Any chance I could get a lightsaber
I'm a
and just like
Padawan of Luke Skywalker. Yeah, I definitely want to do this.
I know. And I think about it too, like from my perspective, obviously, I am right there with you. But then I try to think about it from his perspective. He's been through a lot of trauma, and Din's been the only stable thing in his life for a long time that actually
Mm-hmm.
cares about him and loves him like a father. So I get it, I get why he chose, to go back. But me personally, I would be like, peace, sucker. I'm gonna be a Jedi.
Or I would have been like, bro, you know what island I'm in? Just come visit me from time to time.
Just come on, hang out. I'm
Just
gonna
come
have my
hang
little.
out.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
dope. Yoda's lightsaber would have been lit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well. Oh Grogu. That's another thing. I hope in the movie, the Mandalorian and Grogu, that he's a little bit like older and like doing more things because
And a little
like
bit taller.
just a little bit because he can't be that big. And Yoda was
Yeah,
tiny, but
just a little bigger. That's it.
just like 2 inches.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll do that though. What do you think? I think because so many people are so used to like seeing the merch and all of that, and now that it's finally going to be a big blockbuster movie, they might want to keep it the same so that people are not like surprised. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think it's gonna stay that way.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's dumb. Anywho, last one is the galaxy.
All right.
You can live in the Star Wars galaxy, but there's a catch. You can't be a human. So, which alien species would you be?
Wow. If I had to pick an alien species, I'm gonna go with Twi'leks.
Okay, why?
Because I get to play with the weird little ears all day. And I feel like just all the Twi'leks have like these amazing colors. You've got ones that are green, you got ones that are blue. And
Yep.
I feel like it's just, they're very extravagant. So yes, I would be a Twi'lek.
Okay. I would be on brand. I'd be a Wookie for Wookie Whispers. Yeah, I mean, well, wait, are they considered aliens? I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't know. No, they're
I
not.
mean, they're not human.
No. So you're fine. You're in the species category.
We'll go Wookie.
We'll go Wookiee.
Yeah, we'll go Wookie. Ooh, and I can't wait for the Acolyte because I want to see the Jedi Wookie.
Yes. Played
That's gonna be
by
dope.
Jonas, who
Mm-hmm.
also plays the new Chewie.
Yes, he's been in all three of the sequels. He was also in
Solo.
Solo. Was it just the four?
It was just the four. And
Yeah.
he trains with Peter Mayhew.
Mm-hmm. I saw his panel at MegaCon.
Yeah, I heard he was very sweet.
He was super cool. Super cool, down to earth, just like a good dude. And you could tell he was super excited about just being in Star Wars, and that's always nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we have been crushing it for an hour
Yes.
and a half. I appreciate you coming on. Tell
Of
everybody where they can find you and they can subscribe and follow you and all that good stuff.
So on YouTube, I am under as Appetite for Collectibles. You can find me just how it is, Appetite for Collectibles. There's spaces in between, and I think my picture is me as like a blue Jedi.
Yep.
And then on Instagram, because I was obsessed with the little fat kid who yells at his mom saying Linda Listens. My Instagram handle is Nilda Listens.
That's where
And
that's from.
that's where it's from.
Okay.
And I've had
Linda,
that since.
listen.
Yeah. So I was like, wait a second. He says Linda, but my name is Nilda. I was like, so we're gonna have that name, and I've never changed it. I've had one Instagram name, and it's always been that.
That's funny.
And I've been on Instagram since Instagram came out.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. That's so funny. Cool. Well, guys, also same for me. You can find me across all platforms cohesively at I am Gianni V, whether that's YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, X, now formerly known as Twitter, whatever it is, you can find me at I am Gianni V. Thank you for joining us for Wookie Whispers episode 6. It has been a blessing. Thank you again for coming on. And guys, may the force be with you.